He chooses the emerald cut, and we prepare for our grand finale. Exterior, where the Taliban trains. Daytime. In 120-degree heat, Tayshia gets out of the Escalade. She approaches Chris with tears in her eyes. She's trepidatious and scared, and Chris does not give a shit.
He clenches his teeth and grins and is like, what the fuck is going on here? I thought we had an agreement.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name is Dylan. I am settled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Pat, the producer of the podcast, over there behind my glasses.
Hi, guys. How are you?
I'm good. It's the end of the year. It's the holiday season.
Yes.
We are 2 nights away from Christmas, also known as Christmas Eve. You'll hear this on Christmas Eve, hopefully pretty early. It's a nice little present from us. I do want to talk about the fact that I brought over a pretty nice Burgundy and like a pretty nice Burgundy. And I'm not like the biggest fan of it. I think it needs to open up a little bit more. But Pat and Nick both have White Claws. Pat and Nick both have White Claws in their hands,
right?
Which is a filthy beverage. And explain yourselves now.
All right, Dylan. The wine is lovely. I enjoyed it. I had half a glass.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cut weight. I didn't eat any fucking food today. I already started feeling buzzed after that.
What are you doing trying to cut weight on Christmas Eve?
Because I got on the scale and my fat pig ass. What
were you, 168?
No, I got up to 182.
Okay.
And it was you pounding all those whatever the fucks they were at the Christmas party.
Nudie, brown butter nudie. And it wasn't a Christmas party. It was a socially distanced small gathering.
Right.
Okay. I want Newsom or Garcetti crawling up our bums. Nick, what's going on with the White Claw? I mean, I kind of get it with you.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I'm podunk white trash, and I love this trash beverage, as you call it.
Okay, so we have...
To be fair, he's double-fisted. He's
that's
drinking
true.
both.
Yeah, we're going to get a little drunk because it's the holiday season. So... what's the 4th hour of this podcast going to look like? And again, we have to do this every year. It's not going to be a 4-hour podcast. We just have to cover 4 hours of ABC's The Bachelorette.
I was really waiting for you to call it a 4-hour extravaganza last week, and you didn't.
Sorry. So tonight we have a 4-hour extravaganza that is the season finale of Claire/Tayshia's L'Aventura. I think we should go with general thoughts for the episode, wrap it up with final thoughts on the season. But before we do any of those things, PSAs.
For the sake of time, Dylan, I have no PSAs
Let's
this
get
week.
into general thoughts. That is where we give our thoughts generally on the episode. Pat, why don't you try again?
I'm going to go.
Yes,
All
holiday,
right.
Christmas Eve.
All right, so I know what the audience is waiting for. I know what they're expecting, and I'm not going to give them that. All right, I know you're expecting me to just go, oh, I fucking hated it. 4 hours of TV. What the hell? I hate Mickey Mouse. I hate Tayshia. I hate everything. I'm not going to do that. What?
You can see the video on Patreon.com. This white trash piece of shit is trying to learn how to swirl wine.
I actually...
Sorry.
I think I'm improving quite quickly.
It's called releasing the Vespers, Nick. That's what you're doing.
Oh, yes. Now I'm insulted. He didn't think I knew that. I didn't.
Use your wrist. You're just moving your arm back and forth. It's starting in your shoulder. It has nothing to do with your shoulder. Pat, go ahead.
I thought I was golfing.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to continue.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to be a jerk and just complain about it because the fans, they say, hey, now you're making me not feel good about watching this show. So what I'm going to do is base my general thoughts on just those 2 episodes and what I think was problematic with the season. Okay. I am 100% convinced at this point that Tayshia was not only fake and being an actress the entire time, but there was 0.0 time at any time was she actually authentic. She was completely fake the entire time. I think a lot of America felt that.
Okay.
I'm not calling her a bad person for that. I just think she came in here. I don't think she liked a single guy in real life.
Her family was in a panic room. So.
She played the part that she thought we wanted, but it was not good TV.
Yeah.
Because when we feel fake TV, this is why I don't watch Love After a Lockup anymore. It used to be about real people getting out of prison and then seeing what the relationship was like.
Yeah.
Now they're doing all the fake TV where they're doing setups. You can tell they did a couple takes to try and work out a scene. It's all fake, and I'm leaving that show.
Yeah, the quality of Love After Lockup is really dropped off a cliff.
Hell
hasn't
yeah.
it?
Now when we catch up with them like 6 months later and they're doing all this fake stuff, it sucks. Anyway, back to Tayshia.
Hey, Pat.
Yeah. Oh, right. So this was not enjoyable.
Yeah.
And case in point, when she
60
dumped
Minutes is coming
Ivan,
on?
not to get ahead of myself, but when she dumped Ivan,
What was going on?
that arc of her going from loving him and seeing a family with him
Yeah.
to not seeing him again, the next time she sees him, there are kind of red flags about religion and you need to go.
There is a religious wedge in their relation. We'll get to it.
Hold
It's
on.
insane.
I'm going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
That kind of arc is bad writing if you write it in a TV show or
Yeah.
a movie. Like George
bad
Lucas,
producing
notoriously in the prequels, had Anakin Skywalker go from a Jedi Knight saving the galaxy to being complicit in a murder of Mace Windu.
Hey,
Next thing
hey,
you know,
Pat.
he's killing younglings. It didn't make sense. And Tayshia's season didn't make sense. It was
Yeah.
paint by numbers. Glad it's over. 0 rose petals.
I swear to God, I thought he was going to be positive. I think that was his bit. I swear to God, though. Nick?
I don't have nearly as strong feelings on it as Pat does. I'm going to be honest. But I think Tayshia was very willing to do what was asked of her of producers. And
All right, we're doing what I said not to do, and you've started this precedent. And I didn't explicitly say don't do it, but I said we'll have final thoughts at the end of the episode.
Oh, I have more thoughts on this.
Okay, all right. Well, you're venturing into final thoughts, and it's not time for final thoughts yet.
I'm trying to be general.
Okay.
I just want to shout myself out for you calling that Ivan would be in the running when he wasn't. But I was like, oh, that only makes too much sense. She's probably going to go for someone more toxic, like the former drug addict. Fucking nailed it.
Wait, you said that?
You said she was going to be with the drug addict at one point, but yeah, I literally said...
Okay, because you laughed in my face when I said that. You said that that's a rookie mistake, and they showed you something that wasn't
No,
gonna
I
happen.
said the rookie mistake was thinking because they showed you that preview, you thought we had got an actual shot of them in
no,
a wedding
I
dress.
just think it was...
That was the rookie mistake, not your pick.
Okay.
My general thoughts.
Sorry.
That's right.
But
That's right.
but honestly, as we go through these 4 hours that were unneeded, I actually was able to I was feeling pretty creative, so I think I have some funny stuff to talk about.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And 70 pedals.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? I'm glad the catty bitches I'm excited for on The Bachelor. Let's
That's
get
right.
to it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. One of them looked like she was from 8 Mile. Okay, so I thought there was a lot of fun stuff in this episode. Excuse me for that throat stuff that was going on. Anticlimactic finish, but we've got on a budget fantasy suites. We've got stage dad. We've got a bizarre elimination, as you mentioned, over religious reasons that we were not privy to. I give it 4 pots. So, Tayshia begins the 4-hour stretch of television on a high, quote unquote, from the hometowns, which I thought was insensitive language to use given her choice at the end of this journey. But also, you were on a high from that?
I believe the direct quote from her was, "It could not have gone better." Nice attempt at trying to be cool to America, but I know you're full of shit. Tayshia.
You were on a high from tossing rings in the heat with a strange child and meeting a felon with face tattoos?
Maybe often at carnivals, if you go find the dark corners of them, there is someone selling crank. So maybe she picked up some of that because that's the only way to get high off.
So there's a good amount of TV talk here. The guys talk about how dating the same woman makes for a strange dynamic between them.
Yeah, the Lisper actually
Yeah, it
tells
does.
the Lisper actually tells his buddies it's going to be really weird once they begin entering her.
Yeah,
I believe that was a direct quote.
in so many words. Huge surprise: JoJo is not dead.
I actually missed that part that Pat just told us about. I
Yeah,
think
I
it must
did
be the
too.
lisp is why.
He's tripping over his goddamn
It's
lips.
tough to hear. So, as I mentioned, I was really relieved to see that JoJo has not perished, and her bruises have been covered up miraculously well. That or she has the trademark powers of Wolverine, because I think we all know that something terrible happened to her.
I should make her my wife then. We would have invincible children.
Okay, so they talk about how, given the engagement is days away, that it's time to talk to the guys about stuff like where you live and what you do for work and career aspirations and all that meaningless bullshit.
By the way, Tay talking to JoJo to get some clarity about relationships, the perfect person for the job. A woman in a TV relationship that's been engaged for 6 years and her eggs are literally yelling, "What the fuck? Dump this Jordan character." We're starting to grow gray hair on ourselves down here.
So Ivan gets the one-on-one. He is giddy as a goose, knowing that he has a chance to blank. You guys want to fill it in?
Bang.
Fuck first. Yeah.
Oh,
You kind of omitted
one of you guys.
An important part.
Say that.
Harrison shows up. He is so giddy, and he tells him, "Get ready for the fuck rooms."
No, he didn't say that.
He did say that.
No, he didn't.
He said, "Get ready for the sucking and fucking."
They have a very brother-sister kind of thing going on.
Also called that.
Did you?
Yeah, I said that. That's what I was seeing with their relationship. That's why, even though he checks all the boxes, that's why he wasn't ultimately going to win this competition.
Exactly. There's no sexual chemistry between them whatsoever. But they go about on their date, and in a Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis the Ghost type twist, he's drenched in fucking sweat. Mm-hmm. I am so ready to leave a season where everyone is just constantly hot. It's very uncomfortable.
Well, we're not going to gain that with Matt James' season because that was filmed after Claire's season, still in Palm Springs, right?
No.
Who knows? I'm not sure about that.
No, there are so many different locations. Did you see the trailer? They're hopping all over the place.
It was shot this summer when the country, I think, opened up temporarily for a few weeks.
Yeah.
It was in a brief moment where they knew they didn't have to kill small businesses because they could affect.
Okay, so Tayshia has a way
Exactly
to
right.
cool him off. It will be a record-shattering try.
I do want to say about you said Bruce Willis is actually dead type twist.
Yeah.
Is that a reference to Chris Harrison online when he was clapping back at some people who were saying he was giving out spoilers on the episode?
No.
Oh, he posted a picture.
No.
That's a Segui right there.
No.
He posted a picture of Tayshia and the winner, I'll say, and people
Zach.
and people got pissed at that, and they're like, spoilers, and he's like, hey, spoilers are when something hasn't happened yet. Guess what? Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, and then someone else bitched.
Oh, God.
And he goes, hey, guess what? Bruce Willis is dead the whole time. Ugh. So it was just crazy that you guys pulled out the same analogy.
Wow.
Don't lump me in with that fucking horror addict, okay?
Shit
ridiculous. So Tayshia has a way to cool him off. Like I said, it will be a record-shattering try at the world's coldest kiss.
I know this show's budget
Yeah.
for years has been slowly taking a nosedive.
Buckets, water, ice.
This was one of the cheapest, tackiest, newest lows for even this franchise.
Yeah. Creative,
Jesus
though.
fucking Christ.
Pretty inventive stuff with a shoestring, I will say.
I know. $18 and a drive to the 99-cent store. We have everything.
Well, no, they had that shot clock, which I think costs more than the entire season, but go ahead.
Yeah, creative. If you think creative is stealing from LOL Network's flagship program, where Kevin Hart interviews a guest as they sit in an ice bath. He's not forced to kiss them. I will say, very confusing record. Longest/coldest kiss. How do they calibrate the value of long or cold? What if you were in like a minus 200 degree thing for 3 seconds?
Or what if you just put an ice pack on your knee?
And kiss for 7
days.
years.
Yeah. So this seems to be pretty tough, but it also seems to be a lot better than the world's hottest kiss, which I think is a pretty good segue and a good time to eulogize these two. That is the Dick Doctor and his wife's name.
Kari.
What?
Kari.
No.
The Dick Doc's wife?
Kari?
Yeah. Kari
What
Evans.
is she, a Pacific Islander?
I don't know. C-A-R-I. I just saw
What the fuck are we talking about?
It's not Kari. It can't be Kari. Okay, so it's probably Carly. Do you not remember this? They ate a ghost pepper and then they made out.
It was gross.
And they just strung spit across each other's face.
one of the
for
grossest things I've ever seen.
15 seconds.
Is it Carly and Evan?
It's Carly and Evans.
Carly and Evan, yes.
Are you saying they broke up?
Yeah,
Yes.
they broke up. Do you not see that?
I saw that.
Yeah.
You know about Sam Smith getting dead named, but you don't know about this?
I did know about this.
All right. So presiding over the ice bath will be Shitface and what he has called Bachelor Nation favorite Big Paulie. What this show does with this man is unbelievably confusing. Pat, you got a confused look on your face.
I don't know who that guy was. Paulie?
I believe Paulie was shown an episode. He is the luggage guy. Usually, I think, but it was. I'm ruining it by saying I even had an inkling because my first thought was, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
And I've been doing a podcast and watching every episode.
We've seen every episode.
3.5, 4 years, I believe.
Yeah,
it really pissed me off. And what does this say about Wells that this man couldn't get a call back and Big Paulie gets like 12 lines?
You're 100% right. You're 100%
How
right.
long do you have to be talking to Paulie at a cocktail party before he brings this up?
it's
I don't think he brings it up. I think he's pretty humble. I think he works security. I think he's proud of it.
All right.
But yeah, I had a couple questions. Why have you started off with this poor man's hypnosis telling us that he's a Bachelor Nation favorite? No one, and I mean no one, knows who this person is. And two, Chris says that he's an orphan who was found on a glacier. No joke. He says, you're an orphan who was found on a glacier. What do you think about this entire thing? Was that?
I think
was that an attempt at humor?
It was. And an epic fail.
I mean, epic fail. So this was a lot of fun, I gotta say.
It was. Now, there was no actual chemistry between Ivan and Tayshia. However, I assume it was exasperated by the frigid cold, which I do want to make a point.
The clawing was a little hot.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but
interesting choice.
I got to thinking as I was bored watching this, the difference, what cold does to the sexual orifices. With women, the nips become aroused and they could make it to a point where they could cut glass, whereas frigid temperatures make the male genitalia retreat into a cave, so much so that it wouldn't even show up on a CT scan.
Yeah.
It's like it disappears.
Where'd it go? Honestly, I was thinking I need it because I need my dick to get smaller. You know what I mean?
I feel the same way carrying this thing around. It's fucking
cudgel
gift and a curse.
Yeah.
So big. It's fucking so big. Okay. So, meanwhile, Zach is on deck. He says, all right, 3 times. And believe it or not, wins the competition.
Do you know?
Shocking.
You're familiar with the reference, of course, right?
Of course.
No.
Yes, he is. Matthew McConaughey. Hey, I want to say this. The meanwhile should sound like this, Dylan. Meanwhile, the guys continue to chat about loads being dropped. Okay. The Lisperer talks about needing to trust her. And then when the Lisperer gets the date card, he does the Matthew McConaughey imitation because I believe his brain is damaged and no longer able to pump out serotonin. For this reason, he thinks he looks like Matthew McConaughey.
Dude, I think he had an MVP night. Now, his brain has been ravaged by years of drug addiction, but there's something primordial in there. It's very sinister.
It's the after effects of the addiction. It's
no,
the addiction.
No. He's. We'll talk about it later. But when he gets into a room with stage dad, I mean, he lights his ass up. We'll talk about it.
I actually think the line, all right, which Dylan knew was from Matthew McConaughey, famously made famous.
Famously made famous in Dazed and Confused.
In Dazed and Confused. But I actually don't think we know the bounds of this man's manipulation he learned while being an addict because a year ago on a Instagram live Q&A, Tayshia was asked who her celebrity crush is. And when you know what the answer was, Matthew McConaughey.
Wow.
She was just drooling over him. And I think this man really changed his entire look. I bet he didn't even have curly hair. I bet this man's never drove a Lincoln, but I bet he rolled up in a Lincoln.
How far into character, though? Did he go as far as to become a crystal meth addict, too, in fact?
All right, so we should move on just because we have a Lawrence of Arabia man.
I knew he was a sober man, but I didn't know it went as deep as crystal meth.
The police showed up, and he was playing bongos naked. I'll leave it there. Okay.
Are you kidding?
No. It's a well-known story.
And the man has been on every single goddamn podcast except ours. He's just been doing his
green
book
light
tour.
means go, baby. Don't hold yourself back. So Brendan says that it's tough knowing that another man is having a, quote, experience with the girl you're dating. Good way of putting it. And yeah, it is. Okay, so night date.
Night date.
Any highlights from dinner, or should we get to the mobile meth den that they talk about religion in?
Okay, so this is crucial before we get to that with some of this dinner talk.
Yeah.
She tells him she feels that they can accomplish anything together. She sees herself being a part of his family and hanging out with his family, and she says that they can count on her. She then tells him the kind of feelings that she has for him is not common. That's very important to lay out for what happens, like 48 hours later.
Why? Because it was all platitude bullshit?
Yes, that's precisely what I'm trying to
Because she sent him home?
Yes.
Immediately after that?
She didn't. This is the interesting thing about Tay, is she doesn't care about any of these guys, and I think she went a little too far.
Yeah.
With some of them, and made it even more difficult when she was then have to dump some of
You
these
got to
guys.
rip a Band-Aid off when you got to rip a Band-Aid off. Prolonging something that you're not looking forward to can really, make things exponentially worse. The stakes are so low here, though, that it doesn't really matter. But
she also tells him she's been falling in love with him for weeks.
Yep.
Omit that, Tayshia.
Never say it.
Don't.
Never say it.
She said it to all of them.
Right.
Okay.
Some of them she half meant it, though. With him, I don't think that she did.
I think there was a lot of times you could pick up on her language, and she was like, even though she was acting, she was trying to soften the blow for him, but she just couldn't do it outright. She was like, "You've been a constant for me. I've just felt a connection," but it was never like, "I need you," like it was with Zach.
So they get the date card. Chris has given them permission to fuck one another should they choose. Any highlights from that?
Final word. She says she feels they can take over the world together, and I'd say that'd be nice, but let's start with living together for a year.
And I thought it was
go grocery shopping.
I thought it was interesting that they banged in an RV. I know somewhere Dean Unglert was cursing his TV.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on record as saying I don't believe a single guy entered this woman.
Mm-hmm. Bold. I agree with that.
Did end up golfing with Dean. Did not bring up The Bachelor.
Good for you.
That's incredible. What did you guys talk about? Dylan golfed with Dean Unglert.
I talked about a lot of stuff. He's a very nice guy.
I believe he
very
is.
Sweetheart.
You don't want him dating your sister. He's a pig.
Probably. Well, he's very, very handsome. He's got the hot guy tattoos all over the place, but he's just very, very nice. But too nice,
What'd you guys talk about?
I don't even remember.
You guys gonna golf again?
Yeah.
That's nice.
You need to turn this into more content for the show, Dylan.
I'm
You're golfing with Dean Unglert.
I'm going to long play it. Pat checks the phone for the first time this evening. So, next day.
Next morning.
Tayshia wakes up and is really pleased with how things went the evening prior. Not sure what he said about religion or when she realized just how problematic it was, but they're all smiles the next day. Mm-hmm. It's almost like nothing bad happened at all.
You know what? Given look how tired they both look, maybe there was a hand job and a little fingering.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
If there wasn't a hand job and a little fingering, she's a cold-hearted woman. After leading him on and saying I'm falling in love with you, but then sending him home because he says he doesn't believe in God because he's an aeronautical engineer and is science-based.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's a good take.
He makes his way to the other guys and says, "Hi, I'm fucking exhausted. We did not get a lick of sleep."
It was wonderful what he did. But for all jokes aside, if I was Brendan or something, I would have just leaped across the couch, grabbed his hand really fast, and smelled his fingers.
Okay.
I mean, you would have had your answer.
I mean, I don't, who's to say, because hand washing's pretty readily available.
You don't get that funk off your fingers. You wash it like 2-3 times.
Pat is obsessed with the scent of a woman.
The scent of the lining of vaginas.
Scent of a woman, episode title.
Okay, so let's get to Zach and Tish. These dates so far have been pretty sexy. Mm-hmm. Despite the brother and sister chemistry between them, I do think that they got a little hot in the cold baths because, he did have his arm around her. He was squeezing her butt a little bit, and she was clawing at him and stuff. They were ice cold and kissing, but this is Jackson Pollock hot, baby. Mm-hmm. Today they're going to be rolling around with no clothes on and dry humping in paint. Now, he's pretty giggity with this whole thing. He says that he's very looking forward to the exploratory component of these last stages in his La Ventura, which means that he's very excited about fucking her.
Oh, yeah.
And he's very, open about it.
Think about it. You don't get to, your lips can't touch alcohol or a couple little nice little pillies get you in the mood. What really gets your rocks off these days? Usually you become a workaholic, you become a fat pig, you drink a lot of coffee, or you like to fuck. Can I say something about Tayshia here? And this is basically an audition for her hosting gig on Access Hollywood.
Okay.
This is a extremely lame segment or bit, and I disagree with you about the Jackson Pollock thing. It looked more like a Matisse. She sells the shit out of this. It is so lame, but just her excitement about it and selling it to the camera. This is what like a local news reporter does when they go down to like some kids selling fucking lemonade to raise charity. They sell the shit out of it. That's exactly what she does here. I wasn't buying it.
I am just imagining
So passionate.
Pat and his wife watching Tayshia roll around in this paint, just cursing how fake she is. Like they hate her.
I threw a move on her after I finished it at midnight. My wife gave it up. That's
hell
yeah.
yeah.
Passionate love.
Oh my God! Really, the hatred brought you two together.
Yes.
Hate is actually
Powerful act.
What was the move?
Yeah,
I said, hey, can I? What do you call that? Where you go in the back and you cuddle with someone? What do you call that?
Spoon.
I was spooning her.
And you humped her butt.
I was kind of rubbing against her, and then she said, all right, get Jackie off the bed. That's our dog. I was like, okay, let Jackie outside. Came back and said, you still in the mood? She said, all right, hurry up. Very romantic,
Dude,
married sex.
That's hot.
Dude, I feel like Quinta in here.
That's a same move though. I'll just spoon. I'll even throw a hook in,
You wrap your foot around her.
All right, so moving on from us having sex with our monogamous partners, shall we get to dinner?
I do want to say this. It was before they go to the night date, they talk about what's a day look like for you? Like, just run me through your day. What's an average day for you as a person? And I love this, right?
Yeah.
And he answers, but he never added the fact that he needs to make it to a 7:00 meeting in Redondo. You know what I mean?
He probably should have gone something like 7 a.m. meeting. 8:15, I start thinking about how I want to do drugs. 8:30, I keep thinking about how I want to do drugs.
I'm upset that we didn't get to hear Brendan, what he does, because he would have been like, I wake up at 5 a.m., I grab the lunch bell, grab my hard hat, I stroll through a McDonald's drive-thru, grab a cup of coffee and a McGriddle. I work for 12 hours. Then I go down, I meet the boys for about 3 beers. And then I go home, go to bed.
Wake up and do it all over again.
And then occasionally I'll spoon you, throw a hook in, and try to enter you.
That is so funny. That is so 100% true.
It is 100% apt. And by the way,
Coffee
more
from
human
McDonald's.
beings would be happier in life if they led that kind of day.
Oh, 100%. He exerts himself. He's a man of God.
And then on the weekends, we go to the dog park.
Okay, so dog parks, I've ranted about them before. I mean, it's just, there's too much room for error. How is it not a lawsuit every single time? Dogs are probably nipping at each other. So, I mean, there must be horror stories from dog parks. But
I
anyways,
want nothing more than to take Chewie to the dog park, but he's not.
He'll get killed.
No, because he's a little shit instigator.
All right, so let's get to dinner.
Dinner date, night date.
This is in the bag at this point. In the fucking bag. L-bombs are obliterating the grounds of La Quinta. As we said, she is very overt and honest with her feelings for Zach, however undeveloped and exaggerated they are. This guy is a demo disc salesman of love because of all those years manipulating people for drug money.
Birdie said on that Facebook group, I guess we got a couple therapists in that group, and they brought up the fact that this guy, basically as a former addict or whatever, they make the most masterful manipulators.
Yeah.
They are so quick on their goddamn feet.
Yeah. She's a puddle. She stands no chance. Neither does stage dad.
I mean, this piece of shit even wiggled his way out of the kids question. Because remember, she's like, she wants 5 kids. By the way, you better hurry up if you want 5. He tells her he was lying to himself when he said he didn't want kids.
Sure.
And he deserves that, he says. And I was like, what do you do? What?
No, actually, he's lying to you right now.
Yes.
He was being truthful about the first thing.
But that didn't work.
It was a master manipulation tool. Like he said, he didn't have enough confidence in himself to have kids. That's why she may have heard that he definitely doesn't want to have kids.
Yeah.
He was just too smooth the whole time. She said right in the beginning of their date that he's just had swag the whole time. And I think she was confusing years of hardened life experience necessitated by abuse and addiction for quote unquote swag.
Yeah, I mean, just because you wear Jordans doesn't mean you've got swag, but he does have that drip of pain, a lot of pain. So a little fucked up here. They get the date card. And
you mean the fuck card?
No, I mean the date card. Sorry. I don't mean either of the things that have been brought up. I mean the fantasy suite card. A little fucked up here. Ivan got a filthy fucking Airstream, and these two get a villa with stairs and a handrail right by the bed. It's the stuff that 4K porn dreams are made of. You know those ones with really pretty people? They're like super well lit by natural light. That's what this room is. And Ivan had to talk about how he hates God because he understands math and an Airstream. It's not fair.
I agree. I noticed that as well. And hope activists didn't watch this episode. Disney's going to get a talking to. So obviously,
we got Rachel Lindsay coming up.
Oh yes. All right. So I did catch something too. Did you catch something? So when the Lisperer gets the date card, Tayshia remarks, she tells him it's the quickest decision she's ever seen him make. And I was thinking, Tay, you weren't there when he was staring down at that Florida snow, asking himself, was it a good idea that Bernie Gold Dust be sucked up like a Black & Decker despite not having paid his rent for 3 months? Because if you had, Tay, you'd realize that was the fastest decision this man has ever made.
That was beautiful, Pat.
Thanks.
But yeah, I mean, he's made some really quick decisions in the past. Really quick decisions. So,
should I take all of it?
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Can you imagine this man now with an inbox full of DMs from thoughts and disposable cash at left and right turn? I mean,
later, Tash.
Oh, this is way better than Bolivian shale. The high this man is getting off of.
All right, so they made a ton of love. It would seem they do a rather. Sorry,
I'm convinced they didn't have sex.
Why?
Because he's been done drugs for years, so probably like a little. What do you call it? When you're unable to get it up, it's like an initial
erectile dysfunction.
ED.
No, is that what you're talking about?
I was.
No, I just think she's not really attracted to him, and she would not let his filthy little cracky fingers.
She gets engaged to him.
I don't care.
Okay, I think they had sex. And they do a rather on-the-nose transition the next morning. The two begin grunting and cut to them jumping in a bed.
They stole this bit from Austin Powers. They were stretching out carpet.
Who probably stole it from some Peter Sellers.
100%. Yes. Yeah. He stole most of those bits for that movie.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Actually.
Fun movie, though.
Great movie.
Sure. I'll just go through every comedy that I liked as a child, and I'll put it in a script and just a little spin on it.
Imitation.
Call it Austin Powers 2.
What's it called? Imitation is the finest form of flattery. What is it?
Sincerest.
Sincerest. There we go. So he saunters on back to the guys. Any highlights here?
Now.
Let's get to Brendan's date. Worst date of the three. They did him
I'm sorry.
Dirty.
The Lisper was so fucking smug with that poker face.
Oh, I don't think so.
It made me want to flatten that frying pan pie hole face even more.
We needed to stop and say that. Very mean. Very, very mean. Shame
America
on you. Holiday
felt that way.
season.
You know what?
Christmas Eve.
Each one of us has a role on this show as a host that are beloved to the audience and endearing. Mine is my real honesty.
And I think oftentimes mine is actually just like kind of which way does America lean? And I got to go with Pat in this one. The smug prick was definitely playing off that he fucked her.
Okay, so
smell my finger.
Brendan's.
Can I hit that?
No, COVID, babe.
Come on.
So
it's like what a troll job.
He's breathing 2 feet away from you.
I know.
Worst date of the three. They did him so dirty, like I said. Tastes so good. So anyways, stop. Don't rob me. We're doing a podcast. Don't rob me.
That's fair.
Ivan got to make out with her for 6 minutes in front of a security guard who loves sausage and peppers. Zach got to lube her up and simulate fucking while painting. And Brendan gets to meet Neil Lane.
And go jewelry shopping.
Words cannot describe how horrible this date is, specifically for this particular dude who seems to have a little bit more principle than most people who come on this show do. And you couple that with he's the last person to go. So this guy, being a pretty decent guy, looking around saying, this whole thing is pretty ridiculous, and I'm the third guy. They launch him into a date where he doesn't get to talk to Tayshia. He gets to meet a fake tanned faux celebrity jeweler, and he just looks off like he just fucking escaped from Alcatraz or something.
Another note on Neil Lane. What a free commercial this motherfucker gets. It's honestly, this would have been worth like $1 million to buy this if you're Neil Lane. Did he tell them, make a deal, he's going to supply them with all the engagement rings for the next 50 years? I mean, what did he do to get this much advertising?
With ABC? Yeah. I have no fucking idea.
I've never seen this on television before.
I think it's a quid pro quo, but heavily in Neil's favor.
100%.
Because he supplies $115,000 wedding ring, if that. They could be cheaper than that.
The wife said Caitlin Bristow's was about 80.
80, okay. So, an expensive ring, once a year, twice a year. And he gets to be the guy that supplies all of the most famous wedding rings, and he gets to jack up the stones as high as he can go. I would rather be Neil Lane in this negotiation.
You used to do that joke, more like Neil Lame.
I did.
It was either you or Nikki.
It was Dylan.
You
go.
Oh, how I've grown.
You go more like.
You are.
You go more like Neil Lame.
You have.
It was real lame.
You've grown.
It was real lame, and it was me, Pat. Damn it.
Yeah. I had a feeling that was a Nick bit. That sounded like a
I'm
Nick
actually
bit.
upset that you didn't remember it.
So
real lame.
This guy is not going to be blown away by this. The second Bachelor Nation star of the evening. Can we get to the night date?
Night date.
He breaks up with her. I'm happy for him. Like I said, I think the dude has as much principle as one can have as a contestant on this show. Brendan is at a point right now where he's thinking, it's just too hot here, and it would be insane for me to get married to you. I don't know you.
I love this guy because he's being extremely genuine here.
Gentle and genuine.
Well, she says him, and I love what he does here. She's trying to feel him out. She goes, so where are you at? And he goes, and this is a direct quote. He says, this could be someone I could possibly see as the mother of my children. And I reminded you guys a couple episodes ago, my version of this is when someone used to invite me to their band and I wouldn't go see their band. And then they asked me how it was. And I said, I didn't see the band, but I heard you were great. And I mean that.
And I mean that is the kicker. Because it's meaningless if you don't throw that on there.
Yes. He begins to cry and he tells her he wants kids, but a big part of him is broken. He needs time to grow. And she needs to be with someone who's more healed. And then he apologizes, to which I believe this is what Tayshia's response should have been.
Kids, well, you're off every weekend doing wedding gigs at a whopping $60 a pop? Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
She makes a good point.
Well, that was...
She could have.
She could have made
Sorry, that was her?
No, that's what she should have said. In her mind, that's what she was probably thinking, you fucking asshole.
Whoa. I mean, listen, I'm a huge Brendan fan.
Big B guy over here.
But hey, dude.
Huge B guy.
I get he's trying to get out of this, but this is not your way of saying, like, I'm not ready. I'm too damaged. I've kind of fucked up. I'm still feeling kind of the repercussions of the last breakup. Then don't sign up for this show.
Well, I mean, in terms of problematic hurdles, I think those are pretty low off the ground compared to some other people.
Then let Brendan, he was being genuine, then why not be more genuine? Hey, Tayshia, the reason I got to go is...
Don't say what you're going to say.
You've just spent the last 48 hours banging my 2 roommates. I as a man with any level of self-respect, cannot stare you in the eye, and say that I'm into you.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think
where's that black SUV?
I think maybe the most real thing on this season was his tears, because like we kind of talked about it when he was with Neil Lame. Real lame. He looked terrified when they were looking at all those rings. And as we know, has been established on the show, fear is nature's most powerful aphrodisiac.
Yes.
So though he knew he couldn't like get down on one knee and propose to Tayshia, he really wanted to fuck. So like saying goodbye to her at this moment.
That's why he was crying.
He knew he was passing up a free shot to just lay some pipe in the fantasy suite.
We really have to.
I get it. So I understand.
I hope to see him again in no other capacity than The Bachelor, and I mean that. Be Peter Krause. Go away. Hang fucking shingle. Do not come back to this show in Mexico. Don't do it. All right. So should we get to Pat's favorite part of the show?
Next morning,
Tayshia is beside herself because the guy who was going to get left at the altar went home. And she hears a knock at the door. Who shows up to put her at ease?
That mouthy bitch, Rachel.
Jesus, none other than the big sister she never wanted. That is Rachel Lindsay. Pat. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel Lindsay. You offer nothing to your little stint or visit on this show because you're merely there to recap what we've just been watching for the last 6 weeks. You have no real insights or takes on it. You offer literally nothing except your face and that weird hair. You are growing less and less attractive to me, which was the one last redeeming value you offered. Now you offer nothing. Hey, I want to say this, just sidebar. I just started catching it this particular episode, or maybe these last 2 episodes I was forced to watch. Tayshia has a wine glass morning, noon, and night, and goddamn, I love that one part.
We haven't talked about this at all this season.
She's kind of a wine hat.
People talk about the fact that she's like lit the fuck up in a lot of scenes.
I love it. She loves the champs in the morning, in the noon, in the night. I love it. Yeah. You know, hey, can I share a little story, which I thought was going to break my wife and I up. Unlike Tayshia, my wife scared me about the whole drinking every day thing. It was our 4th date, which means that's where I don't need to spend any money. She's going to come over. We're going to rent a movie, drink some wine, and have sex.
Have sex with one another.
So the wife comes over. The last 3 times we'd seen each other, I'd crack a bottle of wine.
Right.
The 4th date, she's sitting on the couch trying to get a movie ready or something. I crack the bottle. She can hear me screaming. She goes, "No wine for me tonight."
Oh.
And she kind of made me feel weird about me doing it. And I walked in the room and I stared her in the eye and I said, "I drink wine every night. So get with the program or we're going to have some problems here." And I turned to her an alcoholic. She kills a bottle of wine every night, except for when she was pregnant.
You were
well
such
done,
a
bravo.
poor influence.
Oh, but back to Tayshia. That's the one thing I like about her.
Did she not say, maybe you should get on the program? You
She
want
didn't
to
have
talk
the
about a
wherewithal.
program?
That's why I established early that every Saturday night I'm going to be gambling thousands of dollars on a UFC fight, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you try to get me help, you're gone.
Yeah.
Well, it works when they're into you.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work for me now with my wife.
Yeah, exactly. It really helps when they're into you. But don't blow it too early. Get the hooks in and then start becoming yourself. Mm-hmm. They, for some reason, won't leave. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Why they love us or something? It's
I don't
insane. I look at my life. I look at my wife and I'm like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Okay, so for some reason they start talking about Ben. Why?
Producer
He's gone. He's gone. Why would you start talking about Ben all of a sudden?
You couldn't hear the squeaking of the puppet strings on Tayshia's shoulder?
And I quote, "Hey, Svengalis, your fucking strings are showing." I mean, this is just pathetic.
Pathetic.
Pathetic from ABC. Ben comes back at the end of the episode, and I'm just thinking, hey, producers, this isn't fucking Vietnam, okay? Where are the rules? Are we just allowing every fucking loser to come back in the playoffs? What is going on here? I don't get this. Ben shows up. He sits down with her, holds his hand out for her to hold. Yuck. and says, I wanted to tell your tits. I wanted to tell you that I'm in love with you.
She then cries and puts on the TV reality show performance of her lifetime for her. Not for me.
This is going to bleed into the next episode. So I want to take a quick break and talk about a little PSA. All right. Want to take a quick pause in the action to tell you about a lovely company, a wonderful company doing incredible things, spearheaded by our very own Alana Leanna. It is ecsweaters.com. That is ecsweaters.com. Pat, you have any thoughts, words?
Yeah, I'm looking at the site. By the way, this is one of the birdies out there. This is her business.
Yeah.
And I want to say this is a tribute to our listenership. They're not a bunch of losers out there, okay?
Right. They're entrepreneurs.
Yes, these are people. We got a couple therapists out there. I believe they're an airplane pilot, some military people, some doctors,
scientists,
people that listen to us are successful people.
Yes, of course.
Okay, I troll around there whenever someone likes one of my comments or something. I'm like, what's this girl look like?
Yeah.
And I take a deep dive, like I creep around in there. No, I'm doing that.
How long do you take per?
Very quick, because my wife's in the room. I don't want to think I'm a weirdo. Anyway, this EC Sweaters company is owned by this wonderful,
beautiful
birdie named Elena.
Yeah.
And she's been with us for a long time.
Attack Hawk.
And I want to show her how loyal you guys are to people that listen to the show, because we're all kind of similar people.
It's the holiday season. If you love the show, support your fellow birdie. She's started a company, Attack Hawk. She started a company. It's been a tough year. Everybody, not saying that she needs the help, not saying that she needs the help. Not saying that.
No.
But I do want to tell you a little bit about her company. The designs are absolutely beautiful. And she does something that's pretty disgusting on the, if you didn't delve deeper in. Her sweaters are made in China. And I've said numerous times that we should not be exporting labor to China. But when I asked her if she was paying slaves' wages for the sweater construction,
you asked her that.
Yeah, are you paying slaves' wages? Because there are children whose hands are melting trying to make these sweaters for you. She said, no, this is a specific program where we actually pay Chinese laborers in and out type of wages, regular American wages, $12 an hour, $12.50. I said, that's absolutely unbelievable. So this is not only a hot, fresh apparel company with sick designs and cool prints. It's a humanitarian effort that you can support with promo code ANOTHER for 40% off anything you get there. You're helping strangers.
The promo code is ANOTHER?
The promo code is
ANOTHER. Did she come up with that?
You got anything else?
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking at the site. You guys be loyal fans. Go over there and buy it. It's reasonably priced. I think she's into cats because she's got a whole cat love collection. She's got the fall collection 1 and 2. She's got a sale going on. And you know what? She's doing something really fucking nice here. Like I'm looking at a beautiful sweater. It's $87. She allows you to make installments on it because she understands a lot of people are going through tough times.
And she understands the unbelievable power position you have over people who are in debt to you.
Go support a birdie. This site is legit. The stuff she's selling here is legit. Buy something for your mom, your sister, or something for Christmas. Spend some money so more people, want to pay us. You know what I'm saying? Let us wet our beak a little bit.
I'm extremely intrigued by the cat collection right now.
Yeah.
I am looking at the cat collection.
Yeah,
and if there was a male version, I would have pulled the trigger on this read.
All right, let's get back to the show.
So head over to ecsweaters.com and buy some shit.
Boom. All right, episode 2. This is pretty bad fake acting. Like you said, this is very, very Young and the Restless type stuff. This whole
Love YNR.
the guy I wasn't into and the guy who kind of scared me actually, so I sent him home, has now told me he loves me and I'm destroyed by it thing. Give me a fucking break.
And then yelling to the mirror or a producer going, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? I don't know, Tayshia.
The problem with this, I don't want to get ahead of myself because I think I want to rant on this when he ultimately goes home. But the issue with bringing people who were sent home back into the fold is that they were sent home
For a reason.
So they
Not
don't. They were sent home, right? If they had enough to stick around, they wouldn't have been sent home, right?
All right. When Brendan left, here's what the production meeting looked like, and Tayshia was in that meeting at 11 o'clock at night. Whew! I kind of didn't see that what was coming. Well, Karen, you should have fucking told me. That's Tayshia yelling at a producer. I'm
Are
not
you talking about with Brendan?
Tayshia's yelling to a producer, Lauren, about Brendan leaving. She's like,
Karen.
Oh, Karen. Yeah. Hey, Karen, what the fuck? And they said, don't worry. We're not going to let you be a bachelorette who only has two guys, okay, to bring to hometowns or whatever, okay? We'll get another guy back, and we've already started working on it. She says, great.
100%. The tire marks were still wet.
They absolutely.
And they told that fucking Suburban to turn around and bring him back.
This is why I hated this season. You know what? Can I throw out what I thought would have been a better move for this? I know hindsight 2020 Monday morning quarterbacking, but this was so awful and such a mess and so uninspired and boring. What if they had done the Juan Pablo season, right? So we see Claire's full journey with that, and then just do her last 4 episodes with Dale and cap it off with that. And that's what, that'd be like 14 episodes, which we're already at now. I would have enjoyed that more, and I think America would have, as opposed to this hodgepodge put together, fake ass, whatever season.
I actually don't hate that.
Thank you.
I really don't hate that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's why I'm producer Pat.
It's recycling content, which is lazy, but
I feel like they pulled it off in La Quinta. It was cheap for them. It was net positive. They did the show.
We're gonna have final thoughts.
Real? Is it ever real?
Is it ever real?
Yes.
So he tells her that he was scared. We're talking about Ben here. He tells her that he was scared of telling her that he loved her.
Did you hear this little clip, how her response went, though?
She said, down the road, are you just going to run away from things when it gets hard? What are you guys talking about?
No, Dylan, I heard another take, and I quote, she said, Ben, you told me you and Karen Carpenter had a lot of similarities. That was a huge turnoff. And now you're scared of telling me this?
Pat, do 95% of our audience a favor and tell us who Karen Carpenter is.
Oh, don't you remember you told me you love me, baby? Baby, 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 oh baby.
Now I know Tom.
I love you.
I know.
I really do. She was bulimic.
She died of an eating disorder.
I know Tommy Boy, but I have no idea who the fuck Karen Carpenter is. So,
for anybody older than 55, you're smashing your dashboard in laughter right now. You're welcome.
So, but track that line of talk. I was scared of telling you that I loved you. Are you just going to run away from problems when things get hard? It's a romantic ad-lib. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Who said that she's getting some of her lines from The Notebook? One of you guys did that. I agree with you.
I think it was
me. That's how you take credit for something. He didn't know. I think it was him, to be honest.
Hey, this would be an important point to say that Tayshia's husband was on Reality Steve, his podcast. I'll keep this really quick.
Quick move by Reality Steve.
He did not completely trash her, but of course they were only married for like a year. He's a great looking guy, by the way.
Oh, so hot.
So he was kind of classy. He didn't trash her that hard, but basically said that she was never really checked into the marriage. She was kind of checked out constantly. He said, like, let's work on it. But he said, and this is where it was kind of like hinting at it, she had other aspirations. She's always wanted to be on TV.
Right.
And so you have a young girl who's that pretty, who wants to be an actress or something like that. You can't get married that young. And he was basically saying that. And we're seeing that play out here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
producers won't think you're available to fuck and be promoted if you're
married. Yeah, it's bad luck.
Didn't notice this before. There are framed tile sets in the hallway of her suite.
That was disgusting.
Who put those up?
Someone tacky, and definitely over 62.
Who paid for those and then hung those up?
That's trash and really pathetic. My wife would have a heart attack if I put those up.
All right, so
I think though the real takeaway from this is that Tayshia is becoming increasingly fearful that Ben is suffering from PTSD.
Yes.
Unless she break it off like a Band-Aid, like she should, he will kill her and himself.
So anyway, she tells him that he's welcome at the rose ceremony, and again, have you soaked the fucking rule book in gasoline and lit it on fire? This is chaos. Let's get to the rose ceremony.
All right. I have a hot take here. Why? And it will exemplify why Tayshia doesn't give a flying fuck about any of these guys. Ben walks in to the surprise of the Lisperer and who's left? Oh, yeah, Ivan.
Yeah.
They're shocked by it. Tayshia could have taken 5 minutes to warn both of them that she invited Ben back.
Great take.
The very fact that she doesn't take any time to do that and let them be a little shocked, because remember, she's the actress. She doesn't care about these guys. They are fully in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or at least more on a real authentic level than her.
I think she knows that she's going to get rid of Ivan. I think she knows that she's going to get rid of Ben. And she knows that
the Lisperer,
her and the Lisperer will talk about how, like, I mean, it was fucking insane. He told me he was throwing up bags of Doritos. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ, somebody get me out of here. And then they'll, like, laugh about it. And she'll laugh and say, like, let's have a drink. And he'll put his hand around her throat. They'll go to bed.
And his own throat.
My kind of night.
All right. So, roll call. Who stays? Who goes home? Final one of the
It's a little more complicated than that, Dylan. So we got Ivan, Ben, and then Brendan. I'm sorry. What the fuck am I thinking?
That's my bad.
So we got Ivan, we got Ben, and then we got the Lisper. She pulls Ivan. Ivan, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you over here? They walk off. Ben turns to the Lisper and says, "This is where I realize how cold-hearted the Lisper is. He's out for blood here."
Yeah.
Ben goes, "What do you think's gonna happen? You think she's gonna send him home?" Lisper goes, "I hope so."
All right,
what a monster.
I'm getting a little drunk. I really have to focus.
All right, so Tay talks to Ivan in like a really bad, I brought this up at the top of the show, like a really bad movie script where a character begins to do and say things that completely contradict we've seen with the events that took place prior. And ultimately, in a film, they betray the film. It's very much like when Rey's character in Rise of Skywalker hugs and kisses Kylo Ren. The man has committed genocide of multiple planets.
He destroyed the Jedi Order.
He killed Han Solo, his own father. You would not hug and kiss him. That arc of you guys connecting never happened in the script.
You know what I learned today?
What?
Luke, I am your father, often misquoted. It's no, I am your father.
Yes.
I knew that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So getting back to another property of Disney, that is The Bachelor. They're a monopoly. They need to be destroyed. Who goes home? Who stays?
Well, Ivan goes home.
Do a roll call.
Roll call. Here's who goes. Here's who stays. Ivan goes home.
Leaving?
Oh, yeah. He leaves, and then Ben and Lisper are left, but not really.
Bravo. And it ends with a whimper, not a bang. Ivan is sent home. She stops the ceremony to mercy kill him. Ben, who is essentially back down to rookie status, taps Zach and is like, I'm not sure if that conversation's good or bad. Okay, can you do me a favor and not speak to me anymore? What is that?
You're not my buddy.
I'm not sure if that conversation's good or bad. One, don't talk to me. And if you're going to talk to me, don't say something as useless as what you just said to me.
This is what I would have done if I was a Lisper, and I'm not a fan of his.
Yeah.
I would just go, hey, Ben, you missed overnights. Smell my finger.
So obsessed
just that.
With that. All right. So
my problem was with it was like, Ben, like, how does this conversation go good? She pulls Ivan aside. She's like, you win.
Okay.
I wish.
Let's talk about their conversation. Producers, feel free to produce. Because no one knows what happened here.
No.
Nick is still trying to learn how to swirl wine.
But I do know what happened here.
Oh, you do?
She said faith is very important to her. He's an aeronautical engineer. He believes in science,
right?
Over what he thinks is a fairy tale, and he's honest with himself. I'm sure he wants to believe, but he can't, and he keeps himself up at night, fearing death, crying himself to sleep.
Yeah,
no, just kidding. That's 8-year-old me. But yeah, I think really the chasm was just the belief in God.
Yeah, I have a couple bits written, but I think that's kind of ultimately what happened. But
I'm actually curious.
I think they could have worked past it if she meant what she actually told him.
Well, I said I had written down, did he tell you he was a fucking Scientologist? And then I had written down, can we get an OTF where you at least shed a little bit of light on the situation? Mm-hmm. Like we were making love and he started screaming, there is no God or something like that. I mean, just tell us something that happened. We have no fucking idea.
Well, also because it never did happen.
Or maybe it did happen, and so they're having sex really passionately. Yeah. They're making love, and she's like, "Oh God, oh God!"
Right,
and he's like, "Wait a second,
wait,
you believe in God?"
That's how it fucking went.
Way to go, Nikki.
I've been doing it for 4 years.
Another podcast
pros.
network, Detective Services. So, anyways, next day,
it's time
for Tayshia's family. Now, we've met these Adamses before, but I will say the family is lovely aside from the fact that her father loves a camera and may keep her mother chained in a basement. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't want to come off like a monster, but I'm happy to report she got her dad's looks.
Ugh.
Thank God.
That is disgusting, what you just said.
You knew what I meant, though, didn't you?
I think you're.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear what you're the mom's ugly. Is there any confusion about that?
I think you're both off base. I think she's not kept in the basement, and she's a beautiful woman.
She is kept hidden somewhere. She looks to have been. I'm not saying. I'm saying that she looks, and I don't mean physically looks. Somebody call the police. She's in trouble.
Hey, can I get my first funny thing that I thought of? When her dad says, so tell us about Ben. And she said, well, he showed up at my back door like a cat. And then she paused and said, or a pussy.
It's not even that good. All right. So, yes, Ben is up first. She tells him that she sent him home and that he's back now. And this is when the dad begins really buying into the process a little too hard. He says, Ben getting sent home and coming back means that he may struggle putting his best foot forward, which is one of the most manufactured, empty concerns I've ever heard from a parent on this television show.
Oh, yeah. Well, he also, a dad toasts to second chances, and I was thinking, hey, the Lisper should be here.
They're either holding up cue cards for this guy and a cattle prod, or he's a full-blown stage dad. Because later, the fam is sitting down and chatting and sweating. Also, fun game to play. Watch how quick the ice melts. There is no ice in these drinks. 0. And I say fun game to play watch, which would mean that you would need to rewind. Which we often recommend for our audience to do. Go back, watch the show again. You'll really get all the juicy details. But if you don't want to, I say just go back and rewind this part. Play this fun game where you watch how quick the ice melts. Because there are a few things more unappetizing than a big fucking glass of watered down gin and tonic with limes floating stomach down at the top. You know what I mean? So long. Doesn't need to be in
I'm
there.
with you.
It did need to be said, and I truly didn't believe there was anything that could be said to make me watch this episode again, but I really wanted to clock that ice melting.
Oh, wait, a little fun thing to do with reality.
It's crazy.
Hey, just so you know how fake reality TV is like Real Housewives, if you really look at the dinner table when all those crazy bitches are arguing with each other, look at the glasses and you'll see they're having a 5-minute conversation. You'll see it's a full wine glass, then it's almost empty, then it's half full.
Sure.
It's out of order, and it's not like they drank 4 glasses. It's they shot it out of order doing a scene.
Exactly.
It's fun.
Nothing I love more than playing the continuity game with Bravo.
There you go.
Television.
I could have just used that word, and I didn't need to talk as long as I did.
It's almost, hey, me too, brother. It's almost like Andy Cohen is just spitting in our faces, saying they're too dumb to care.
Pay attention to that. Yeah.
Okay, so, but I wanted to say, piggybacking on the previous bullshit that the stage dad says, he says that in order to get a second chance, Ben must have made a really good first impression. What are you talking about, you nut job? You don't make any sense. You're just talking and talking and talking, probably because of the cattle prod.
Can I tell you why I was disappointed in Dad? Because he seems like a substantial man, other than being a TV stage dad. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but her dad asked him, what makes him think he's ready to be married to Tayshia? His answer is simple. She's Tay.
Oh, no, really?
Dad ate that up. He ate it up. Really? That's a proper explanation for you?
Dad is a beanbag. You could put dents in this guy pretty easily. He's really not that formidable as far as Bachelorette, and contestants' fathers go. Tayshia sits down with him, and he says that he's really impressed by Ben's background.
West Point.
Well, you don't quite know the fools.
Yeah. Well, he says he's genuine. I was like thinking, Dad, get your fucking gut check recalibrated, you idiot.
The mom is an absolute 0. She provides nothing to the audience aside
Call her
from,
the nose.
What? But Ben sits down with her, and he's really firing at the hip with the full disclosure, I'm in love with your daughter thing.
Jesus Christ.
He does it with both dad and mom, and the day ends with another sponsored scooter segment. It looks as though they don't have enough for everybody. The mom is left sidelined while the rest of the family has the time of their lives on the all-new Trek SX Rad Electric scooters. Shall we get to Zach?
No, the mom actually had a bad hip. I looked it up, and that's why she couldn't ride one of the scooters.
You're lying to me.
I thought her line of vision was a little off. Her line of vision was off.
All right, so Zach, can we get to Zach Attack?
We can't. Dylan did pick up on it. I was lying. She does not have a bad hip. I don't know about it, but I want to go back to the dad.
Yeah.
He was impressed with Zach giving his best foot forward, or whatever. You said, wait till he finds out.
Yeah.
And more specifically, wait till he finds out that Ben has failed at giving up twice.
Yeah. He's going to be beside himself. He's going to talk to him. He's going to pull him in a room and say, listen, I don't want you to fail. Try it again. What do you need? What can I get you?
3 times the chop.
All right. Let's get to Zach Attack. He sits down with the fam.
Can I get my genuine what? I've been talking for 2 hours today. Let me give my general thoughts on the Lisper here, because it kind of sets the tone.
Yeah.
He treats meeting the parents like he's fucking the speaker at an AA meeting.
Yeah, totally.
Having been at AA meetings, this is exactly how they take over the room. A lot of positivity, a lot of affirmation.
Yeah, it's nauseating.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I left my last AA meeting. They gave me a job, which I needed. They try and keep you coming back. They're like, hey, you're the guy that fills up the M&M bowl, or you're the guy who has to make the coffee.
Responsibility, yeah.
That's right. When they gave me the coffee job, I'm not coming here anymore. You're not putting me to work. Well, I have to show up 15 minutes early. I'm not going to that meeting anymore.
You're not putting me to work. All right, so he sits down with the fam. Says, we all know that Tayshia has that glow that lights up a room. And
how does he say this?
The first time I saw that glow was when she was talking about you guys. Then he toasts to gratitude. Again, there is no ice in any beverage on this table.
Now, hold on.
It's too hot a place, and I was thinking about it.
It's
disgustingly hot in the room, but also there are 15 people in that room.
Yes.
There are so many people in all of these rooms, and the lights, it's just hot everywhere.
It's a hotbed. Now, I do have to say, the Lisper does a really good job. I know we've kind of talked, he's talked with a couple family members, but particularly with Mom, I caught one thing about her line of questioning, because she starts out with the easy ones, and then she gets a little...
She says, help me in between.
Now, she goes to, she asks Lisper, she goes, do you love her? He says yes. And then she hits him with this one. Underbite or meth addiction?
All right. Oh, fuck. So Dad
says,
tells her to spit out a rating of 1 to 10 on her future with Zach.
He's a huge Dave Portnoy fan.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about him treating it like an AA meeting.
Yes.
It's enough that you learn the manipulation from the addiction, but then the rhetoric of positivity that you hear from AA can be recited to normies and just really blow them away.
They don't know.
Yeah.
It's a spell.
Hence the toast to gratitude. They love fucking gratitude. Oh, I woke up again clean today. Like, geez.
Oh my God.
This is particularly exemplified when Lisper is talking to his dad.
Yeah.
And his dad, like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Completely, when he's put on the spot with a question, because he has to avoid partying throughout his 20s, 30s, being arrested for check fraud. Instead, tells the guy how great a dad he is.
Yeah, so the MVP...
What a wonderful pivot, you manipulative piece of shit.
It was a brilliant technique. Inflate the stage dad as high as he can possibly go. It's just a wonderful technique that he used. He said that what excites him about their relationship is living up to the example that he set. The guy is eating out of the palm of his fucking hand. Desmond, you've never sat across from an ex-addict level of manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't stand a fucking chance.
Not a chance. Not a fucking chance. Hey, I'm going to say something really disparaging about the Lisperer, and I think a lot of people that may have fought with addiction or something that are fans of ours may not appreciate my take on the Lisperer's future, but I'm just going to say it because I'm me.
How long do you think it'll take? 15 seconds?
5.
Hit that 15 seconds forward button.
I believe the Lisperer will die in a room with empty Ziploc bags and old furniture.
Alrighty, so moving on.
Soon.
Zach keeps saying that this is the closest thing we're going to get to New York pizza. In what way? And do you say that every time you eat pizza outside of New York City?
He's like,
what are you talking
he's
about?
like, at this immediate moment,
Right.
this is as close as every time. And it applies.
Says it every time.
It applies.
All right, so
I just got Joe's this weekend. 8, 9, 5. Just
Oh,
like Desmond.
did you get Joe's?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rosario eats like she's being allowed to, and when leaving, Zach points to her and tells her to get in here for a hug. That kind of confidence only comes from a man who just dominated the patriarch of the family. So while it's pretty disgusting, I get why he's on such a high.
Next day.
Tayshia wakes up, throws on a little denim like a fucking nut job, and begins journaling. That is where she hears a knock at the door. It is stage daddy Dez. This was an infuriating and bizarre interaction. Infuriating and bizarre.
Is this when Dad came in and said, look, Mom and I and that way younger child.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hurts the eyes to try and understand where that younger child came from. We've talked and Ben is weirding us out, so don't pick him.
I don't think that he said anything that concrete.
Here's how I took this as.
Yeah.
It was looking like it was very obvious how this was going to end. Ben was still there, even though he had been kicked off once.
4th.
The other guys had essentially excused themselves. They had to show some drama, so they had
Right.
so he got cattle prodded in, and he's like, "Go rattle your daughter's fucking cage. Make her think you
but,
don't
like,
support this decision, because that's the only thing that will make her question."
I want to know what the call to action was, because it, of course, wasn't that pointed.
It was
but
rattle this bitch's cage.
It definitely wasn't that. I want to know what it was, because he walks in and he just says very vague, concerning things to her. And I'm sitting there thinking, do you want to provide anything actionable whatsoever? Or do you want to just freak the fuck out of your daughter? This man drives me fucking crazy. Let's get to the date with Zach.
Date.
I'm not sure these two are going to work, because she is freaking. This is the guy that she's going to pick.
Oh, I thought you meant the dance instructors.
Well, Dylan, I thought it was an interesting choice on how to determine whether or not she's making the right decision, because I always have done this. In order to test the love of someone, I need to make sure they can learn choreography quickly.
100%. Yeah, I think it's a pretty fucking important prereq, which is why William and his wife Eden are here to help them. Do you guys want to cover this couple?
I don't. In fact, I don't want to cover any of these dates. What the fuck was this? They fucked and then they made the families. We didn't need some kitschy little date in between.
I think I only have I don't have anything left to say.
I know it's tough.
But I like that line I had. Like, it was about the show.
It was fun to see William and Eden and think, what the fuck is that? What's going on there? But yeah, Tayshia just proceeds to lose it a little bit more, and Zach continues to sweat. It's an important date because it's going to get them ready for the next television show. One or both of them are going to be on. So, night date.
Night date.
Actually love that take there, Dylan.
Yeah.
What if they have the couple who's engaged compete against each other
Against
on
one
Dancing
another.
with the Stars?
It'd be like Survivor, Blood and Water.
I was thinking the same thing.
So Tayshia tells him that essentially she wants to make money on Instagram for a few more years and then be a mom, and she's wondering if he's okay with that. Turns out he is.
He is, but then I believe she said something like, this is going to be pretty tough with you just working at Cliffside, Malibu.
Well, not only that, he says that the reason why it's going to work out is because sobriety is the most important thing in his life, and if he stays sober, he will support her in whatever she chooses to do, which is a painfully convenient ripcord he has cinched to this marriage. The second he hits the bottle, gone.
I mean, it's every conversation this man has.
It's Darth Vader.
Again with Stage Daddy Dez, he just like he was like very serious with this man that there's gonna be struggles. They're gonna work through struggles together. He can't be more adamant about that.
All right. So, despite this, she is going to bed feeling pretty damn good. Next day?
I don't know. I went to bed.
Okay. So, Ben wakes up with a body that won't quit and a gut feeling that he's going to propose to Tayshia.
Unfortunately, he won't either.
Okay. In a Norman's mommy, excuse me.
Psycho.
Yeah. And he also thinks that he is going to propose to Tayshia and that she's going to say yes. And in a Norman's mommy 2 type twist, she sends Ben
Bates Motel.
So I get these always back moments are very dramatic, but they don't pan out because normally the people who are meant to stay don't go home. It's kind of how the whole thing fucking works. Next day, Zach brushes what's left and sits down with Neil again. Thank God that was quick because I think we've had too much Neil Lane over the past 48 hours. He chooses the emerald cut and we prepare for our grand finale. Exterior, where the Taliban trains. Daytime. In 120 degree heat, Tayshia gets out of the Escalade. She approaches Chris with tears in her eyes. She's trepidatious and scared, and Chris does not give a shit.
He clenches his teeth and grins and is like, what the fuck is going on here? I thought we had an agreement. You're supposed to be happy. This is supposed to be our second love story. Do not back out now. We'll kill Stage Daddy Des.
He literally says, in so many words, you're weirding me out. I cannot deal with this kind of female energy. Go away from me and get married to that guy you barely know. I don't think that we have anything from the speeches.
I have nothing.
You fell asleep.
Right.
Okay.
I did wake up I woke up to hear her yelling, "Yay, we did it."
All right. So Zach and Tayshia are engaged for the time being. We have to get to 2 things before we wrap up this season.
I want to say no final after the rose or something, right?
Right.
Thank God.
I did want to say just one thing at the end. You mentioned it, how she said at the Men Tell All, she was sitting on her bed eating donuts.
Yeah.
And she asked this recovered addict if he likes donuts.
Okay.
And the man, of course, he's like, oh, only if it's with plain black coffee.
And a Marlboro Ultralight. All right. So
Indoors.
Let's do 2 things before we end. 1, over-unders, and 2, final thoughts. Pat, why don't you set the over-under on this?
On the relationship, I give them till June.
June?
Yeah.
Nick? I'm going to go over June.
Okay.
I'm going to go over June. I think they're going to drag this out and it's going to get pretty yucky.
Well, he will definitely relapse. I think that's part of the story.
I'm going to go the same timeline we had with who broke up in our first season. No, it was Ari was our first season. Who was our second? No, Nick Vial and whoever. It was about December. It was
Vanessa.
It was after the Dancing with the Stars.
They lasted 8 months.
But now these guys are going to have to last a year to get past that cycle. COVID threw everything out of whack. It's going to be about December.
Okay, December. All right.
No way.
So, okay. So the segment just went awry. He said a new line. You disagreed because you said the first line, but we do have to now get to final thoughts.
Over as well.
Exactly. So, Pat.
All right. Well, I've already pretty much said my whole piece about this.
Yeah, you completely fucked up final thoughts.
No, I didn't. I mean, I can still talk.
Okay, great.
I'm going to say this. I think Bachelor, I hope they learned a lesson from this. Don't ever do anything like this again. And also, be careful what you wish for. We couldn't wait for Claire to leave, and then we were always saying off season, can't wait for Tayshia. Like, that would be awesome. She'd make a great Bachelorette. Not really.
Pots.
0. I hated it.
I thought, to be honest, they did the best in what the situation we were given. They're one of the only programs on the planet that was operating, doing production, and we saw this adult summer camp at La Quinta, and we were able to give hours of entertainment for our fans. So I enjoyed it. 80 pedals.
I'm going to steal back. I'm sorry, I got to take a steal. What I want the Bachelor casting to know and do in the future is we don't want another person that is completely not present in the process and just trying to look good and be an actress. She is the first that really I see as not having any real emotions or feelings towards this process. It was just a means to an end for her.
Right.
Others may have come on the show as a bachelor or bachelorette with the premise that that's what they were going to do, but then got all wrapped up in the process and actually did care for some of the people.
Sure.
I hope that never repeats itself, or I don't think I can bear to watch.
I thought that they did pretty good being sequestered in a hotel resort in the desert. And when they failed, it was pretty fun to watch. They made love in an Airstream. They scootered a comical amount of times. With that being said, though, Claire and the train wreck that was Claire was the best part of this season, and it was a long, long time ago. A long time, I give it 4 pots. A long time we do not have before Matt James' season begins. We will see you guys on the 5th of January for a brand spanking new episode of Another Bachelor Podcast. Until then, guys, stay frosty, and remember, go to patreon.com/another, but that is Another Podcast Network, all sorts of tiers. Give a gift of fuck it. I'm Dylan saying goodbye and Merry Christmas. Nick, say goodbye and Merry Christmas.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.